Good morning. Happy Monday, January 31st, 2022. Let's get mediocre on some NFL stuff. First, we'll talk about yesterday's nice conference games. They were both very good. And we'll talk about some personnel issues on the front office side. Some done, some not. We're down to 5 head coaching vacancies now. So the first game in the AFC, Joe Burrow led the Bengals over the Chiefs in overtime. Well done. Well done. They really shut the Chiefs down in the second half. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs got the coin toss in the overtime again, and you're like, here we go again. Patrick Mahomes gets picked off though. Bengals go down and score a field goal and win the game. So Joe Burrow is going to go to the Super Bowl in his second year. His first year he had an ACL tear. Pretty impressive. So congratulations to them. If he succeeds, as I saw earlier this morning, thanks to friend of the show Nick, I saw a report that he would be the third, if he can win, he would be the third to win a national title and a Super Bowl. Thought it would be more than that, but yeah, it's Broadway Joe with the Jets. Boy, was that a long time ago. Joe Montana with the 49ers, and now another Joe Burrow, so that's kind of interesting. Or not. Second game. Rams were able to outlast the 49ers. This was a barn burner. Came down to a Jimmy G interception. I wouldn't say is necessarily all his fault, although it was like 3rd and 18. He's being spun to the ground, throws it in the direction of a guy that he was trying, like one of his running backs out in the flat. Tipped off his hands into a defensive back's hands. Ball game. After the Rams had just gone ahead in the final 2 minutes with a field goal. So they won 20-17. Ball was somewhat catchable. But gee, don't throw it. Go to the ground. You got one more play. You know? You're better off trying to run than to stay near the pocket there if there wasn't anything at that point. So, easy for me to say, though. He tried to make a play. That is not going to be an easy offseason for Jimmy G and the 49ers. A good club. Defensively, and with a game manager. I've said in conversations with people in the past, maybe not so much on the channel, but you got to look at your personnel when you decide who you're gonna bring in your as a head coach, as your coordinators particularly. You got to look at what kind of quarterback do you have. Do you have a game manager, or do you have a truly stretch the field franchise quarterback? Derek Carr, for example, with Las Vegas, he's a franchise quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, franchise. Guys like Jimmy G, though, they're valuable. But they're not franchise quarterbacks. They're game managers. And he's a pretty good one when he's healthy. He's worth having. But you have to game plan accordingly. And you have to bring in the right offensive coordinators accordingly. So they got just enough out of him. I think they did a good job with him. And I think they could continue to get better and better with him. But this was a defensive-oriented team with the 49ers. Not a bad idea. But I got to tell you, Trey Lance isn't the answer. If I was them, I'd probably keep Jimmy G around. Despite that last play. It's going to haunt him big time. He didn't recover from the Super Bowl defeat. all that well. So this one could really hurt. All right, so it's going to be the Rams in their home casa against the Bengals. That is going to be a great game for once. We had 9 openings in 9 teams with openings of some sort. Some were looking for GMs and head coaches, and some otherwise. Some just head coaches. So let's look at the ones that have been filled. Minnesota filled their GM with Kwesi Adolfo Mensah. Don't know a tremendous amount about him. Seems fairly competent. Could be a good hire in Minnesota. And as I had previously said, there might be a Jim Harbaugh signing. That is the first place that Jim Harbaugh, they've had a request at Michigan for Minnesota to interview him. So you could see Jim Harbaugh with the Vikings. Chicago had brought in Ryan Poles from the Kansas City Chiefs. Solid hire. But then, while they had Peterson or even Jim Caldwell in their grasp, it's Matt Eberflus. No. They had such a good opportunity to make this the right pick, and I don't think that is. I don't think he'll do a horrible job, but a missed opportunity in Chicago. We'll see. Maybe they prove me wrong. The Giants nailed it. Joe Schoen was the GM after a disastrous previous reign of the previous GM who retired. Brian Daboll comes in from Buffalo. Excellent hire. I think that is very, very, very in character for the Giants. And I think that's where they'll build. Okay? I like that one. Denver brings in Nathaniel Hackett, offensive coordinator out of Green Bay. Pretty good hire, actually. And I have to think that that's the first salvo in attempting to lure Aaron Rodgers over there, and hopefully as a package deal, Davante Adams. We'll see. We'll see. That would make them formidable. But we'll see if that actually happens. There is the opportunity to franchise tag Davante Adams. And Green Bay could just say, you know what, we'll trade you, Aaron Rodgers, but maybe we'll trade you somewhere else. Who knows? They're likely, if there's going to be a trade situation, we trade him out there because it gets him out of the NFC. It wouldn't be a bad idea for them. And they had repaired the relationship with Rodgers, but apparently not well enough. All right, so the last of the 4 that's been done, or 5, because we still have New Orleans open, Houston open, Miami open. Yeah. New Orleans, Houston, Jacksonville, Miami. So there's 4 left because Las Vegas, not announced yet. Dave Ziegler is going to be the new GM. And they're going to bring in Josh McDaniels as the head coach. And I'll get into what I think about this in a second. But apparently Mark Davis thinks that this is a time for New England West. Don't let it interfere with your thinking that so many opportunities for New England elsewhere has not worked. Ask Detroit. Matt Patricia. That went well. There really haven't been that many what you'd call success stories where New England transplants that are not named Hoodie actually were successful after they left New England. But apparently, Mark Davis is sold on that concept and is bringing Josh McDaniels in as a package deal with Dave Ziegler. Ziegler could be a better of the two hires. Not a known commodity. They really only went out and spent money for one season. I don't necessarily know that they're really good in the talent acquisition category, but any more than anybody else is. But they have this reputation for some reason. So I won't hate on the hire too much on Ziegler. What I will say about Josh McDaniels is I've met so many people who are so impressed with their own intellect and yet can't get the job done. I will say that when he was in his defense, when he was in Denver over 10 years ago, he really didn't have much. He had Tebow and he had another quarterback. He really didn't have much to work with from an offensive standpoint. And I can give him a little bit of a mulligan for that. But he was severely under 500 by the time they fired him. And there's just a wise-ass nature to him that just it grates on me. I don't particularly appreciate someone who maybe, in my mind, has ridden coattails, running around like he's a genius. Most of his time's been in New England. When he's left New England, he hasn't really succeeded. Okay? He's left the plantation a couple of times and failed badly. And as we've seen, maybe Tom Brady made New England. So maybe Tom Brady made Josh McDaniels. And see, it's an open question enough that maybe I don't put the direction of my franchise that just made the playoffs at 10-7 in a year with all kinds of disasters. Maybe I don't take a chance on that. If I'm not sure, maybe he's a Brady coattails guy. Right? It's very possible. Now, it's possible he's also contributed to the success. It's possible. They say, they had a pretty good offense in New England this year with a rookie quarterback. And to a degree that's true. What I would say though is you get to play the Jets twice. Okay? It's not that strong of a division. And you could score on Buffalo. And you can score on Miami. Okay? And he had games where he disappeared. So you take away a 50 burger on the Jets when they had basically already given the season up, and their numbers are a little different. So everybody's out there saying, look at how great he did with a rookie quarterback. Look under the hood a little bit. That's a problem. So I'm not sold on this hire. I think it's a mistake. I think Bisaccia would have been a better fit because you had continuity going on. Now we're going to do a rebuild. Watch. Hopefully, from what I'm hearing, he had some great blueprint that's somehow been leaked or whatever. Let's see. I'm hoping, and I'm a Raiders fan, I am hoping that this guy's going to do a good job, and he does have some mad genius ideas that are actually going to work. I hope for Derek Carr's sake, because I'm more of a Derek Carr fan than anything else, that he gets some freaking continuity. How many playbooks does this man have to learn? And he keeps exceeding the expectations. He keeps rising from the ashes. But you just made the playoffs. Did you need to rebuild? I hope this isn't a rebuild, because it might be. You just don't know. And if you're in a playoff position and you're looking for the finisher, would you have been better off getting somebody with a ring? Maybe. Peterson was out there. He would have absolutely taken the job. Good offensive pedigree. Has finished the deal. Josh McDaniels riding in the 20th or 21st seat in the bus, not driving it, riding along to get 6 rings, doesn't mean he coached for 6 rings. Peterson ran the show for a ring. A little bit more value in that. You might want to talk about a culture and everything. Culture's in the locker room. There's nothing wrong with the culture in Las Vegas. So I somewhat dubious that there needed to be this complete sea change. But I am hopeful. Just a missed opportunity. I think Bisaccia or Peterson would have been better. But let's see what this guy can do. And not to mention the fact that a couple years back, he was about to coach the Colts and just like 48 hours later got cold feet. What was that all about? Worrisome. Well, let's see what he can do. So anyway, we got New Orleans still. That's going to be a hard one to fill. Houston still sitting out there. And Flores is a perfect fit for that organization. Don't know why they haven't pulled the trigger yet. Maybe they're waiting until after the Super Bowl. Never know. I would lock them up. Jacksonville has no idea what they're doing. And Miami, they're just looking for somebody that'll kiss Ross's ring. You know, as long as he's a good little eunuch, they'll hire some guy with a sandwich board. But they don't want anybody good that has an ego, because egos are bad. So anyway, that's where we are. Wednesday, I believe I will opine on the Premier League. Today is their transfer window closure. They had the January transfer window closing today. So let's see what happens. I'll kind of look after that on Wednesday morning if I can get up in here. Not sure what I'll do on Friday, but Wednesday I'll probably do that. So hope you have a nice Monday. Although that's normally not in the same sentence. I'm just not a Monday guy. I will leave it at that. Hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. And let's make it a good one as we roll into February. Peace out, me homies. See ya.